What is up, everyone? We are going to be going through my personal CTF that I put on TryHackMe. This is the official write-up, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So, of course, we're not actually going to be using the VMware version. You're going to be on TryHackMe, so you're going to have to start the machine and then get the IP, although I already have the IP. So let's just jump straight into it with an in-map scan. This is the in-map scan I chose to run. It worked on all my testing, so I would assume it would work in this scenario. So let's just go ahead and wait until this is finished. As you can see, we got a lot back from that in-map scan. So we're looking at an FTP server, SSH, ACM soda, and an unknown port. So let's just go ahead and knock them out one by one. Of course, we're gonna have to check for anonymous FTP. So as you can see, we got anonymous login. So let's go ahead and do some enumeration here. So we have a note.txt. So let's go ahead and get that note.txt. And so now that we have that, let's also check for hidden files. So for someone who doesn't check for hidden files, that would have been kind of exactly where you stop, because some people don't check for hidden files. I always think you should. So let's go ahead and get that reminders.txt file, and then let's get out of here. Let's look at what we have. Oh, and it looks like we don't have our reminders.txt. I say that, but it's actually a hidden file. So let's go ahead and cat reminders.txt and see what's in there. So it looks like get cat food, change os.system call for logging from string plus username plus string to use Python logging for login. We also have find a new web server library and remove anonymous FTP. So it looks like they were trying to remove anonymous FTP, but they hadn't yet. But I'm kind of interested in this right here. So it looks like we may be looking for maybe a web interface. I'm not exactly sure. We also have the web server, that kind of looks like something we need to be looking for. So let's go ahead and that's all we can really find with that. Let's go ahead and look back at our in-map scan. I'm actually gonna have to redo it because I got rid of it, but let's go ahead and look at this in-map scan one more time and see what other ports that we should probably mess with. So now that we have our in-map scan back, we also have port 22, which is SSH. That's a recent version of SSH, and I can't really do much with that unless I brute force, and I don't want to go straight into brute forcing because that's not how you're supposed to do most CTFs. So let's go ahead and move on and look at port 8723. So this is an unknown port, so the first thing that I'm going to do is check if it's a web interface. So as you guys can see here, we have a web interface, and of course we have some of my previous tests. None of these would actually work, so don't go ahead and try them. I'm going to show you what would work, and it's a Python reverse shell instead of a bash reverse shell. So as you can see here, we have a semicolon that represents the break of it, and then we run the actual reverse shell here. And this is just a normal reverse shell you can get off of Pentest Monkey or some cheat sheet like that. And it calls back to my machine IP on port 6969, and then as you can see, that's the rest of the rest of the payload. And then we have another semicolon to just kind of separate it and have that run. So if we have our netcat listener listening on port 6969, we go ahead and input a fake password and then log in. Oh, and as you can see, we got a reverse shell. We are the user Cheddar right now. So let's go ahead and do some enumeration and see what we can do with this. So if we go ahead and ls, we have, FTP. So if we cd into FTP, that's going to be that same FTP directory that we were in earlier. Oh, we don't have environment variables set. Whoops. And then we also have a startserver.sh, a super secret web server, and password maker. So let's go ahead and cd into super secret web server. And it looks like we have logs.txt, nothing in there. And then we also have login home. So I guess that's the web interface that we were just working with. Nothing in logs, so nothing important there, I guess. That's kind of how we got our reverse shell, is that file. Although let's look at password maker. So let's go ahead and cat, actually let's look at start server.sh, see what this has to hold. So this looks like Python 3, and then it leads to, I guess this directory, the users directory, and the super secret web server, and then app.py. So that is just a file to run that, I guess maybe on start, maybe something related to cron tab. not exactly sure. Let's go ahead and look at that other password maker. So let's cat password maker dot hi, and it looks like we have probably a password maker. Import base64 bin ASCII. Oh, is that a password? That looks like a password that we have here. So the password for Kuro, I like how they just stick that in there. I say they as if I didn't make this CTF. And as you can see in here, we import base64 bin ASCII, and we have the username and password for Kuro here. So I believe if we do cd into home ls, we have user Kuro. So what if we switch user to Kuro? Then we can paste that, and let's see if it works. So it looks like that is going to bug out, which makes kind of sense because it's not a really stable shell. So let's go ahead and get our shell back. Or we could actually just SSH into Kuro and then so what we can just do now is SSH into that and try that password, and look like we have logged in. So now we have the permissions of Kuro, which are higher permissions, because I don't actually know if I showed you, but let's actually do a little netcat tech lvp 6969 one more time, and then try this again. You can actually see that we can't do any sudo privileges because the user is not qualified to do that. You can't do that. So it looks like over here in our SSH now we can do sudo tech l, and if we input that same password, we can now see all of the things that Kuro has, all the things that Kuro can use. Here is where we will find the user flag, and we actually skipped over the other user flag, so you're gonna have to find that yourself. Although let's go ahead and just ls real quick, and we have the user flag and we have node.txt. So let's cat node.txt. There's nothing really in here. It leads us to a temp file, although if we cd into temp, there's nothing of value in here. All this is just system related stuff, nothing that we can deal with. So we can also cd into assets, and there's plenty of stuff we can do with nano here. So since there's nothing on assets, there's really no other leverages of privilege escalation here. We can go on to GTFO bins, GTFO bins, and then we can look for nano, sudo, and there's this little trick you can do. So if we do sudo nano, and then we do Control R, Control X, we can execute a command right here, and then we just copy this, paste it, and now if we clear our screen, as you can see right here, we have root access, so we can clear that to fix our screen, and then we can do who am I, and as you guys can see there, we are now root. Now if we cd into the root directory, we can now get the root flag. That is the KuroCTF for you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this CTF. It's pretty fun, pretty cool. It's something I built myself completely from the ground up. I don't know how good it's going to be. This is my first time building a CTF, although I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty cool. It implements some cool features and stuff. If there's any other ways that you guys have gotten into this box after it releases, of course, then please let me know. Please do a write-up on it. I want to see what you guys have to say about this box. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this CTF, and I will see you guys in the next video.